Today we are going to make an ocean painting.
Hi guys, Joanne from ArtResin here, and today I have artist Rebecca Brianceau with me. Rebecca creates the most beautiful ocean abstract landscapes. And Rebecca, what are you going to be showing us today?
Today we are going to make little micro versions of this large piece behind us, and I have a canvas that is reminiscent of a porthole in a boat, and then I have this square canvas for you. It's a bit raised on the sides. It might be a bit challenging, but as far as I know, you're up for the challenge.
I am. I can't wait to learn from you.
Great.
Good. So we have all our materials laid out here. Do you want to walk us through them?
Yes, so here I have the wooden canvases, and we have primed them out with gesso, and we've done about 3 coats at this point just so we get the grains out of the perspective. You don't want to see the wood grains, and you just want like a nice clean backdrop so that the resin pigment can really pick up and stand out.
Perfect. Now, can you use acrylic paint if you don't have gesso?
Yeah, absolutely you can. You can also use white house paint, wall paint, as long as it's matte, and as long as it covers up your grains.
Okay, awesome. And then we're using wooden panels here, but if you didn't have a wood panel, can you use a stretch canvas or a canvas board?
You can use a canvas. I would say up to this size maximum. I believe this is a 12 by 12.
Yes.
And I personally, mostly all my canvases are wood, even if it's small.
Okay.
I like its backbone and its strength to marry with art resin.
Yeah, the weight of art resin.
Yeah,
can support
absolutely.
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have our art resin already measured and mixed. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so equal amounts of resin and hardener by volume. And we mixed it up and we poured it into separate cups, 1 for each color, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we have our pigments. We've already mixed out our sand color, and we've mixed out our white for the waves. And as well, we have under here a little surprise. This is our little feet that we're using to hold up my canvas, because I enjoy paintings when the art is rolled over the sides. And everyone has their own preference. Some people like a complete solid color on the side, like white or black, but I just love seeing the water kind of flow over to the sides and then drip. And as well, we have our trusty blowtorch. And I did want to note we are using clear plastic cups. And the reason for the clear is because we want to see the richness of our colors. It's really important to see what we're working with and then what we're going to be pouring. We have toothpicks to get the impossibles out.
Right.
We all know what that means if you're working with resin. And we have our level to make sure that our canvases are nice and level, because as much as we want the ocean to flow, we don't want it to flow right off the canvas.
And this one here.
Great.
It's good too. Great.
And as well, we have a blow dryer, and what the blow dryer will do is just basically take our beautiful white pigment and it will break it out and make it look like a wave, and it will add some magical sea foam and some crashing effects. So
Beautiful.
Really looking forward to this.
I am too. And last but not least, our work surface is covered with vinyl just to catch any of those drips, right?
Yeah,
And then once
good
they
call.
cure the next day, you can just peel them right off.
Yeah, and you can reuse the drips into other art pieces. It's just really up to your creativity. The possibilities are endless.
Amazing. Well, let's get started.
Okay, so we're gonna move these out of our way so we can focus on the water.
So you can use several different colorants to tint your resin. We're using ResinTint today, which is ArtResin's tint. But no matter which colorant you use, it's important to remember not to add more than 6% of the total volume of resin and hardener.
Yeah.
Because if you add more, then your resin won't cure. So,
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see a lot more imperfections. So less is more. I would like to try to see what this will look like.
So I'll start this one, and it's going to be the lighter
Version
right?
of that. Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
you started with about 4.
Yeah. I'm just gonna add more drops to the resin just to get that real deep, rich color.
And that's a really good point too, Rebecca, that you brought up. It's always best to start with less, because you can add more if you need it. If you put too much in, you can't take it away, right?
Exactly.
Do you think I need more blue for this lighter?
Actually, that looks really pretty. I might keep it, I'll have you keep it there for the moment.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make mine really dark and rich because also I don't like seeing too much of the white.
So a good way to test out the color too, if you're working with these cups, is just to nudge a little bit up the side of the cup, and then you can really see the true color, right?
Yeah.
Because when it's in volume in the cup, sometimes it looks darker than it really is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so all our colors are mixed and ready to go. So what's first?
Okay, so we are collaborating on both pieces. I'm going to start over here and just make a little sand base. On yours, we're gonna do a nice arch similar to the piece behind us.
Oh, cool.
And then we're going to then go with a deep turquoise, light turquoise, and we're gonna end it off with the white, which will then turn into the wave with a break and some beautiful sea foam.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so let's start with the sand.
All right.
So I'm going to start pouring the sand out. Since we're filming, the resin thickened up a bit, which is great. So right now we just have a bit of a thicker pour happening right here. I'm basically spreading it around with the knife just to help even it out. And Joanne, I'll pass it over to you so you can do just like a nice little corner edge.
Okay. Yeah, this is a little bit thicker because we've been filming, but
yeah, it's still workable.
Yeah, we're still gonna work with this. It's easy to manipulate, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's great.
You might have noticed that this piece is taped off, and the reason being because it does have that lip. I've taped it off just to help protect the edges from getting resin on it.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to the deep turquoise, which is a really nice consistency right now. I'm just gonna start pouring the dark part. You always want to see the darker part at the top, just visually. If you look at any type of photography, or even when you're flying over the ocean yourself, you can always see the different colors that work throughout. And again, I like mine to pour over the side, so even though it looks a bit messy on camera, it will look great in the finished product. So I'm pouring some darker turquoise over the lighter turquoise just because I wanted to give this more depth. The good thing is we're working in sunlight, so I can see all of the colors in the moment, and you can always add to it, which is great. And Joanne, I'm going to have to pass you over this turquoise so you can start working on your side.
Great.
Basically with the water, I'm going to have you stay on this circular type of a pour. So you're gonna fill out the edge, maybe take it just about a quarter of the way and just keep it on this nice curve because you want to keep the same storyline.
Okay.
And the good thing about the knives is that they're very strong and sturdy and they can spread out the work quite well once you've poured.
Oh, this color is so pretty.
All right, so I'm gonna add a bit of white to the turquoise that you mixed down.
Okay.
I just want it to be a richer color and just a bit lighter.
All right.
And so I'm just gonna mix this up. I'll just start pouring. I always keep the knife close to me just because I like to be able to spread it in different areas. I space out the resin as well. Even though resin's really magical, it self-levels at the end of the day, so I don't have much concern. I just need to make sure that I leave enough for you.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna start spreading this around, and then you can just kind of copy what I'm doing, but also find your own techniques.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is step 2.
So you're not leaving any like negative space, you're covering up all the
100%.
Okay.
There is a negative space that I keep right here, closer to where I want the wave to break. I leave a tiny bit of negative space just because I don't want the bleeds of the pigments to marry too much. So I like to keep a little bit of white space, but eventually we'll cover that up with white.
Right, okay. You just don't want it to get muddy, right? I guess if the two meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to move back to the darker turquoise, which is up here. And I just want to add a bit more of a story, you know, with the lines. And so this on top of the lighter turquoise just really makes it pop. It makes the water look a lot more realistic. They start bleeding out into each other, which is just the magic of the ocean, you know? And much like resin, you know, the water is very fluid and all moves together, including the colors. So in here I've got some drops, but you can easily just mix all of this. And
it really gives you that feeling of motion.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a difference. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Very good.
Okay, so Joanne, why don't you take your lighter turquoise and start pouring. Just make sure the sand that you don't interfere with this over here.
Okay.
So you just kind of want to keep that clean line over top, but you don't want any of that to drop into the sand.
Gotcha. Okay. Here we go.
Great job. Looks beautiful.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my knife then, just to spread this out. And then I can even bring this.
Bring a
out
lot of
too.
that over, actually. Just bring it all down. Sorry, you only have so much control with this type of technique. And so even when clients ask for a custom piece, I can never replicate. That's how one of a kind these pieces are.
Right.
And that's how special they are, you know?
You kind of have to surrender, right?
Yeah, you do.
To gravity and.
Exactly. So right now the way the art is looking, it's just kind of starting to go upwards where we want it to be a bit more shaped like this. We want it to go on that angle, similar to the sand, that kind of rounded. So you can start to manipulate out the resin onto this angle, and so with the finished product you'll see it flows all into the same motion. And we've got this nice white space, which we can also just tidy up a little bit. We want it really close to the sand, but we also want to bring the white in sans problème.
So really close but not touching.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists touch, and that's, you know, we're all individual, we all have our process, but I just like, because it's white, I want to benefit from that white as well.
Yeah.
And so if I put it over the sand or over the blue, you'll see it become like a lighter blue or a lighter sand color. So, and you can keep manipulating it in that avenue.
Perfect.
And then if you feel inspired, you can add those little tiny strips of the darker turquoise.
Now, if I don't like these big blobs, are they going to sort themselves out, or can I like manipulate them?
You can actually, even if you'd like a toothpick. So because this is such a small scale version, you can toothpick that.
And just
So
kind of
yeah,
spread it
exactly.
out a bit.
So if you don't like the blobs, they will go away if you blow dry them as well. But if you want to manipulate them on your own, and you can toothpick all the way through your piece. Cool. Okay.
Good. I like that.
Okay, so we are 90% done, and the 10% is where the magic happens. And so we've got this crispy white mix, and we're going to pour it down on the shoreline as if the wave was crashing, and then we're going to add it anywhere else we see fit throughout the ocean.
Amazing.
So we're going to lightly drop a thin coat of this white throughout the sand and the water where they combine. And I do a little bit of movement in the white, just again to give it that wave effect. Okay, so I'm happy with the white, and now I'm going to have you mirror what I just did, but on a bit of a different angle, and again, staying within your flow. So here you go.
Okay, thank you. I'm a little bit nervous.
So you're gonna go a bit thinner,
Okay.
all the way through. Perfect.
These colors are so great.
Yeah, and then you're gonna go right to the edges.
Okay.
And you can also move it around with a knife, so you don't have to be so glued to the white.
All right. Does it matter I got some in the sand?
That's okay, we can clean that up. So we're just gonna use the sand colored knife to just quickly clean that up. There we go.
Perfect. And then I can do a really long one?
As you wish.
So as you can see, this tape came in really handy, right? Because I already just splattered my white on there. Is that good?
It's great.
Okay. Is that enough, or do you think a little bit more?
It's up to you. You can go for one more, a little
Okay.
tiny one on the edge there.
Okay.
Great. All right, so now we're going to get the blow dryer and let's make these waves crash.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to start on a low level just to see how much motion we get from the wave.
That is so cool.
So we're getting a lot of great movement.
Oh, Rebecca, that's amazing.
Oh. Okay, so let's move on to the next wave. I'm using a low setting, and now I'm going to take it up a notch. And you just move it up and down and however you feel fit. As you can see, it's really bleeding out into the blue. And so a lot of the time the white can get lost. So that's why I mix the white and let it sit for longer.
I see.
Because the thicker I can get it, the more it sticks around and it doesn't have too much movement. Because again, it's the ocean, I want to see sea foam, I want to see a wave break. And if you make it too thin, it will just disappear into the water and not even exist.
Right,
It will
it
just
just
make like
blends
a
in.
light blue effect.
Right.
So you really want that break to happen throughout, and this is just super magical.
Look at all the cool cells and lacing you're getting. It's beautiful.
So I'm really happy with the results. There's a little bit more manipulation we can do, but I'd like to pass you over the blow dryer.
All right, excited.
Your first step is to aim the blow dryer where you want to start.
Okay.
So usually you want to start in this middle ground between the ocean and the sand.
Okay.
So you want to stay really close to the white, and then you want to turn it on low because you always want to have complete control over where this wave is going to go.
I see.
As much control as possible. The white is nice and thick, so it shouldn't bleed out too far.
Okay.
But you just want to get an idea of where you're going to break it, and then it's up to you. I completely trust you.
That's your first mistake.
There you go. You might want to pull back a bit.
Okay.
And then just keep going over the rest of it. And again, it's up to you how far you want the wave to break out.
I see.
If you want it to be a
Can I
super
blow it
wild
back
wave,
towards the sand?
you can. So it's a real science trying to figure out this wave break. And again, you know, you have to understand that it's art, so it's never going to be perfect.
Yep. So if I want to break up this big blob of white, can I push more? What do you think? Push more blue on it? Or
So
push
I
more?
would push blue.
Okay.
So back. So you aim it here and bring it back a bit, and bring it back a bit, but you have to be pretty fast with it
Okay.
as well. You don't want to hold too much time on it.
Okay. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's up to you. I mean, I kind of like that break, to be honest, because it's realistic.
Right.
Of foam pushing up on the sand.
Yeah,
so.
I like that too. I want more. So, good enough?
Yeah. Cool. Great job.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really mysterious. I like it. It's good controlling.
And because mine is in a panel, because this is in a panel, I'm only going to keep it on low, right?
Yeah.
Because it's such a small piece.
Yeah, and you're
you think?
fixed. You're very fixed into your space where
Right.
I'm allowed to move and drip over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So if I want to break up this big blob here,
Turn it up higher and then completely control it. Like bring it. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
that is so great. Oh, wow. Okay, last one. I really actually like what happened
Yeah,
here.
you just have to give it time to like develop the sea foam, AKA cells.
It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, next.
You're an awesome student.
You're an awesome teacher.
Thank you. My first time. So that one kind of has a mind of its own.
It does.
Maybe we can fix that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna come in, and what I'm going to do is just pull some back, pull some in. This is a tricky. This is a very tricky one. So go low and just kind of stay far back.
Okay.
Because this is such a little tiny temperamental corner. So you don't actually want to do too much here, the way you were with the other areas.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's a science. Okay, so a small tip to make the wave a bit bigger and exaggerate it a bit more is to go in with a toothpick and just lift out the white throughout the sea foam. And the art is slowly curing, so it's a good time to start working and breaking out the wave a bit more. And when we say curing in the art world, it means that it's starting to dry for all of you beginners.
Just want to fix a couple more things here.
It looks beautiful. I think it's a pièce de résistance.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
finished.
Yeah, it does look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours
Great
looks
job.
beautiful too.
Thank
I love
you so
yours.
much. I'm really happy with the outcome. So now we're just gonna move on with torching out the little bubbles. Even though it being water, I'm okay with the little bubbles, but you know, it's good to get them out, and that will be it. Making her look beautiful.
It looks amazing.
But
so
it's okay
pretty.
if there's bubbles in ocean water.
True. Just a quick light pass to
Great
get rid of
job.
the bubbles.
Yep.
All right, that's good. So last step is to cover it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got a couple covers under here. Alrighty.
Et voila. So this is the final step, and we will see the big unveil tomorrow.
Perfect, can't wait. All right, we're back. It's been 24 hours. Our pieces are dry and ready to reveal. Now, Rebecca, I may or may not have peeked at my piece this morning.
Oh, that's cheeky.
I wasn't actually cheating because I had to remove the tape from my piece, but I can't wait to show you guys because they are beautiful. Now, before we do though, Rebecca, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what inspired you to start painting ocean art and like a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, sure. So I went to Brazil on a trip with marine biologists in São Paulo along the coast, and we did some field work over 2 days. And during the field work, we were pulling all these different pieces of garbage out of the ocean and on the shoreline, and we were researching them and taking photos and weighing them. And in our log, we captured that some of the garbage was from China and Poland and all over the world, so it was quite devastating. And since I'm a visual storyteller and an artist, I thought I'd tell my story through that. And also, I mean, in Toronto, we have the same bad behavior on our beach side, so I'll see microplastics there. So again, I'm just trying to educate people about better behavior and treating our nature with respect. And so that was where the inspiration came from.
Amazing, I
Great.
love that.
Thanks.
And you know, your passion and your love and your respect for the ocean and for your art is so visible. So
Thank you very
amazing.
much.
You're welcome.
Great.
Now, speaking of your art, it's
Drum
time
roll.
for the reveal. There we go. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Looks like the
Oh
ocean.
my gosh, Rebecca, yours is gorgeous.
Great. Let's
So
see yours.
nice.
Oh, wow.
What
I
do you
love
think?
how the rich turquoise really took well here, and then it flowed nicely into the lighter color.
And yours is gorgeous.
Thank you.
You nailed the colors. Like, it's perfect.
I wanted to make sure that it was simple enough, and it just makes people feel really good. It's very therapeutic. It's great.
Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on to show us how to make your beautiful artwork. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Great. Thank you. I'd love to show you more.
Great. If you enjoyed this video, we have lots more on our YouTube page. Everything from featured artist profiles to lots of how-to and project videos showing you how to get started with art resin. So don't forget to hit subscribe to see more.